The laughter itself didn't wound me. It was her words that did. Into the microphone with a champagne-fueled smile, she said, "My only real regret was leaving Ryan for." Then she motioned toward me. The man she was meant to marry in just 3 weeks. The crowd chuckled uneasily. I didn't. My glass stayed raised, my face unmoving, carved from stone. But inside something gave way. Not loudly but quietly, like a pane of glass splitting under hidden strain. That was the moment our wedding died. And the moment my plan began. I first met Claire 3 years ago. She had a radiance that blinded you to her flaws. The kind of presence that could alter the rhythm of an entire room without saying a word. At that time, she was still raw, fresh from her breakup with Ryan. He was reckless, charming, the kind of man who burned everything he touched. She swore she wanted steadiness now. Someone she could depend on. I gave her that. I gave her patience, loyalty, security. I built the future she promised she wanted. She once cried in my arms, saying I had saved her. I believed it. That's why her betrayal didn't cut like a knife. It rotted me slowly, like poison slipped into a glass of wine. It began with little things. The subtle shift in her tone when she mentioned Ryan. A message deleted too quickly. The way she lingered on old stories about him, painting them as lessons while her smile said otherwise. I told myself it was paranoia, the tax you pay when you love deeply. But then came the look. She thought I wasn't watching, her eyes fixed on her phone, lips curved in a smile I hadn't seen aimed at me for months. One night, she left her laptop open. A thread of messages burned like an open wound. "Ryan, remember sneaking into my place at 2 a.m.? You were so wild back then." His reply. Then hers. "Sometimes I miss being that girl." That was all it took. Not because she confessed missing him, but because I knew then she was already gone, even with my ring on her finger. I didn't explode. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I split in two. The man she thought she knew, calm, steady, oblivious, and the man behind the curtain, calculating, patient, deliberate. I studied her. I traced every weakness, every reliance. I noticed how she leaned on me financially, how her career existed because of connections I'd opened, how every strand of stability in her life was tied to me. And then I saw it clearly. She thought she was gambling only with love. She had no idea she was wagering her entire future. My first weapon was silence. Silence is sharper than fury. It keeps them comfortable, unsuspecting. I let her laugh at my expense. I let her feel safe in her secrets. Meanwhile, I moved my pieces. Bank accounts closed. The apartment lease in my name terminated. Shared expenses pulled back into my control. The wedding gown I bought with my card canceled. The venue contract dissolved. Deposits redirected back to me. Invitations shredded before they ever saw daylight. All done without a single word to her. She thought she was preparing for a wedding. In reality, she was sinking into quicksand I'd dug myself. But the real strike wasn't financial. It was social. I made sure her parents had doubts. By showing them just enough of her messages, not the worst, only enough to make suspicion grow. I whispered to her maid of honor that Claire might not be ready. A single hesitation spreads like fire. By the time I was finished, the stage was built. All that remained was to pull the curtain. At the rehearsal dinner, she walked in glowing, convinced the next day would crown her. She wore white, laughed with her bridesmaids, kissed my cheek as though nothing was wrong. I stood, glass in hand, calm as stone. "I have an announcement." The room fell silent. "There won't be a wedding tomorrow," I said evenly. "Claire has made it clear she still belongs to Ryan. And I won't marry someone who regrets choosing me." Gasps. Silverware clattering. Claire froze, the color draining from her face. "That's not true," she stammered, scanning the room for allies. But they were gone. I'd already stolen them. Her father looked down ashamed. Her mother shook her head. Friends whispered, recalling the doubts I had planted. I handed her the printed pages. Her own words, bound like courtroom evidence. Her world cracked in real time while I stood unshaken, executioner without a blade. Later in private she begged. She said it meant nothing. She said she was afraid. She said I was more than Ryan ever could be. But that man, the one who would have believed her, was already gone. I left without shouting, without slamming a door, without even looking back. Because revenge isn't fire, it's ice. It doesn't rage. It freezes, letting them stand helpless as their world collapses. Ryan didn't take her back. Her parents cut her off. The friends she leaned on chose distance over loyalty. Last I heard, she was renting a single room, working a job she once mocked as beneath her. And me? I sleep well. Because the greatest revenge isn't destroying someone, it's stepping aside as they destroy themselves, once you've quietly taken away the safety net they thought would save them. She taught me that trust shatters easily. I taught her that betrayal kills. And I don't regret a single move.